We know cyber is a great career, and there are lots and lots of jobs, 500K in the US alone. So why the hell are you struggling to find a job or internship? Right now, you don't have many of the qualities you will need to help a company in a cybersecurity role unless you already have some experience. Let's take a look at what you might need to be doing based on research from ISC2 and others. There is a severe skills mismatch between what industry needs and what entry-level students are capable of doing. While they need about 500,000 people in the US, they don't need a lot of newbies without experience. It's a catch-22. You need experience, but you need experienced people, but people can't get experience because you won't hire them. Lack of qualified candidates is the number one reason why cyber professionals are not hired, and it happens in 64% of cases. Therefore, gaining the most in-demand cybersecurity skills can increase chances of securing jobs in the field, as well as open doors of opportunities for professionals. Second is salary expectations, with applicants expecting more than what they are offered in almost half of all cases. The next two problems go along with salary expectations. With a lot of competition from other companies, salary is going to be a negotiating point for those who do have the needed skills. If your organization typically offers below market rates, then the applicant will go elsewhere. Finally, as we mentioned, there are 5 million open cybersecurity positions in the world, but only 500,000 of those are in the US. Not having a presence in the country where the applicant wants to live can also mean a mismatch between applicants and organizations. Some examples of non-technical skills in a cyber crisis response are seen here. Starting with leadership and teamwork, you must be able to resolve conflicts when the problem is found. Hopefully, your company has a plan for this. Then the crisis response team has to quickly get together, and you must adjust to the team dynamics in an emergency situation. Similarly, you then have to delegate responsibilities for various tasks to others on the team. Until you get experience, you will receive tasks to complete and will be the one the leader will delegate to. Decision making is important at this stage too. You must consider the preponderance of the evidence, determine what happened, and make a decision on how to respond. Time is of the essence, and making no decision is also making a decision not to do anything. Sometimes that's the right call, but you need to do it meaningfully, and you need to consider consequences. Communication. Remember, that's why I ask you to write on the discussion boards and engage with your peers. It's vital. You have to talk and exchange ideas and listen. Problem solving is important. You must identify threats and analyze their potential impact. Then use creativity, yes, even cyber professionals, along with traditional approaches to try to resolve the crisis. Stress management is important during these times. It's sometimes very stressful to be a cybersecurity professional. Nobody knows we are there until something bad happens. Finally, situational awareness is critical. This allows you to keep an eye on risk, understanding the context in which vulnerabilities can be devastating, and then change the environment where needed to improve cybersecurity. You can see here that many of the same soft skills are listed in the SIM IT Trend Study 2025, including critical thinking, teamwork, leadership, problem solving, attention to detail, emotional intelligence, and communication. I'm not making this up. They want you to have non-technical skills too. ISC2 also looked at the most important non-technical skills for early career cybersecurity professionals to have. That's what most of you will be when you graduate. Number one is the ability to work in a team environment. So yeah, those team projects are brutal, but they mirror what happens in the workplace. Often you don't supervise the people in the team who may come from multiple departments. Some are smarter than others, some are more responsible than others. You just do the best you can. Ability to work independently is important. You don't want to have to micromanage a new hire. Verbal communication and later written communication both make this list as well, along with presentation skills, all communication related. Project management experience is helpful, although you may not have that when you first apply. What do you have? Group project experience from school. Document it. Keep your best projects in some sort of e-portfolio, or at least the results of the work, something interesting you did, in a group and independently. Documentation skills, they made the list. So yes, it is important to document Python or whatever you're using so that the person who comes behind you has a clue as to what you were trying to do. Have a customer service focus and empathy, as I read in another article, is important. Finally, social media savvy is important. It's not just being smart enough not to post bad things, which you don't want to do, but knowing how and when to post to get people to read your post and to optimize results when people search. It's important to try to develop these skills. Maybe you don't like talking in front of people, so do it more often. Practice and then fake it. Hiring managers also identified the top 11 personality attributes for early career, again, that's you, cybersecurity professionals to have. Number one, problem solving. Given a set of circumstances, can you determine what the problem is and how to solve it? Are you tenacious in finding the source of the problem? The next two are analytical and critical thinking. You need to be able to look at a system or documents or vulnerabilities, critically evaluate potential issues, and analyze which problems are most important. Then comes desire to learn. You need to be curious enough, which has its own place in the chart below, to want to learn new things, because cybersecurity is always changing and you will be learning new stuff throughout your careers. Attention to detail is pretty important as well. You must ensure that all critical patches are updated, for instance. Every single one. It's not a glamorous task, but it's one that must be completed. Creativity, which you wouldn't normally associate with a technical degree, is nonetheless on this chart. You need to be able to see a problem and design creative ways to resolve it. You will see new viruses and malware that you never saw before. You must be able to think creatively to resolve those issues. Self-motivation is important, and it goes along with not needing micromanaging. There are too many vacancies for the manager to sit over your shoulder all the time. And being self-motivated, you must take the initiative to solve problems where you can. You need to have passion for cybersecurity. If you don't, why are you here? If it's for something besides passion, then fake it until you make it. We already mentioned curiosity, then there's emotional intelligence. You need to be able to engage with others in a meaningful manner, whether they are technical or non-technical. They may be very upset when they talk to you. You have to have the emotional intelligence to bring down the temperature and get their issues resolved. You do need to know a few technical things as well. We aren't going through all of these, but you can review it at your leisure. A couple of points. Data security, cloud security, data analysis, AI skills, risk assessment management, and threat assessment are the technical skills mentioned by more than a quarter of the respondents. Cloud security and AI skills are recent additions to the list. As I said, things change quickly in cyber. There's a good bit of overlap between the technical skills needed by early career cybersecurity professionals and the most difficult to find and most important technical skills. AI, analytics, and cloud, for instance, show up on both lists. Ask what level of expertise is needed to perform different tasks. Many require junior or experienced professionals with 1 to 3 years or more of experience, so they're not your new hires. However, entry-level professionals can often succeed by starting with the following, granted non-exciting sounding tasks of documentation, alert and event management, reporting, physical access controls, user awareness training, backup recovery and business continuity, scripting languages, data analysis, and incident response. Get experience with these and then move to other areas. You have to put in the time at the lower levels before you move up to some of the more fun stuff. Putting it all together, you see the top 10 ranked attributes. From the non-technical side, the ability to work in a team, which means you may as well get used to it, was the number 1 ranked attribute across all attributes. In addition, the ability to work independently made the list at number 10. In terms of personality, problem solving, analytical thinking, critical thinking, and desire to learn were identified as important. Finally, for technical attributes, data security, cloud security, data analysis, and AI skills made the list. From this list, you get an idea of what is important to organizations. You can see why some of the attributes are important by looking at what organizations believe are the most important IT management issues. Number 1 issue, AI and machine learning. While number 2, cybersecurity. Cybersecurity has been high on the list for several years, while AI is a recent addition. Let's look at it a little more closely. The most interesting shift in IT management issues involved AI. AI is identified as the most important management issue. Last year is in 3rd place. Not a big jump, it happens. In 2022, it was in 22nd place. And it wasn't on the list in 2017. That was only 8 years ago. This shows the incredibly swift advance of AI into importance for organizations. Let's take a deeper dive at the changes from 2022 to 2025. For the technical concepts, secure software development and security administration have been replaced by AI skills and risk assessment management. Non-technical skills of customer service experience and presentation skills have been replaced by verbal communication and documentation skills. Finally, creativity has been replaced by attention to detail. I found this analysis fascinating and hope you do too. If you get a chance, take a look at the articles referenced here. They may help as you look for jobs and think about what skills you offer. You can see here that companies are investing in AI, cybersecurity, big data, and cloud computing. Investments in AI correspond to its anticipated impact on the business, with over 80% of executives stating that AI will have a lot or a great deal of impact on their organizations. That number is up from just under 70% in 2024. You can't get 80% of executives to agree to anything. Speaking of the cloud, look at the average amount of IT services delivered via the cloud. In 2014, it hovered at somewhere over 30%. Now, 69.4% of all IT services are delivered via the cloud. Organizations on average reported delivering 69% of all IT services via the cloud, which continues a strong upward trend that began in 2015. The median value continued to increase from 70% in 2023 and 75% in 2024 to 80% in 2025. That's a huge increase. You need to know the cloud, and you'll get it in the program. Everyone knows that cybersecurity is important, but that doesn't mean they have a formal CISO. We've talked a little about this. However, that is changing. In 2020, about half of all organizations had a dedicated VP or C-level person who led the cybersecurity function. 5 years later, in 2025, that number jumped to 63.6%. The CISO clearly needs a seat at the C-suite table, and companies appear to be recognizing that. However, companies are not necessarily getting the reporting relationships correct. Often, if they do have a CISO, that person may report to the CIO and not the CEO, meaning they don't really have a seat at the table with the other C-suite employees. Instead, they have the lowercase C-level designation. For parity and to indicate its relative importance, the CISO should report to the CEO. Cybersecurity is not IS any more than IS is cybersecurity. To summarize, cybersecurity is a growing field with many jobs. However, you need to match skills with jobs. Document and publicize what you do well. Keep learning new stuff. And pay attention to the technical, non-technical, and personality skills companies need. I hope you found this a little bit interesting. I thought I was researching for the new curriculum that we're putting together and thought you might find this a little bit interesting. But wait, there's one more. Congratulations for making it this far. Want more extra credit? Thinking about the technical, non-technical, and personality characteristics discussed here. Focus on the non-technical skills and choose 2 of them. Choose one you do well and one you need to work on. For the one you do well, what characteristics allow you to perform this skill well? How can you help others perform this attribute well and succeed? Then think about a characteristic you need to work on. What causes you to struggle with this skill, and what suggestions can you provide to help yourself and others improve? Finally, describe how you might promote your non-technical skills in the interview and or your resume and or LinkedIn, etc. And that's it. Another 20 points of extra credit, which can make up for a missed discussion board post or quizzes or whatever is needed. First, 21 students only, so get on the ball. Plus, it ends on 12/8/2025 at 11:59 p.m. So let's go.